The following is a Big Sky Economic Development production.
Welcome to The Vault, a Montana-based business podcast where we highlight the people and ideas driving our region forward. I'm your host, Marcel Brewski.
You're listening to The Vault.
Joining us on The Vault today is a familiar voice. You've heard his voice before. You've heard us talk about him before. It's Rick from our office, and he leads our Veterans Business Outreach Center. So he's been on before. He shared his story, so we didn't really get into what you actually do now with VBOC. So, Rick, take it away. Tell us some of the cool things you guys have going on and what VBOC is, does, all of it.
Well, thanks for having me on again.
Always. It's so fun.
Oh, yeah. Tolerate.
Thank you, tolerate me, because I'm like a lot.
Anyway, I mean, the VBOC itself is out here working with veterans, trying to help them start their businesses, build their businesses. And that's something that's a mission statement of ours, also to teach the boots to business. That's our primary mission, and to do the outreach. And we're funded through the SBA, so we work.
Which is the Small Business Administration. Yeah. And can we also pause really quick? How do you guys define a veteran?
We define a veteran across the board. Anybody that's worn a uniform. So it's the active duty, reserve, guard, veteran, the spouses in all the branches. And in some cases, you'll get on a rare occasion where a child, is starting a business, and they'll be, working with their veteran father or mother to do that. So, yeah, and what we do with that is it's not just the one-on-one meetings that we have with them, we cover 3 states. We cover Montana, Wyoming, and Utah, and that's a bit of stretched territory. Yeah. So we do a lot of our counseling and everything on Zoom.
But you've been doing that for even pre-COVID.
Yes.
That's just been a very common because of the service area that you serve.
Right. Well, actually, I think COVID was really a turning point for us because it took the people to understand and want to reach out and learn how to do Zoom. And COVID required that of the average person. So it really popped. If there was ever a silver lining to anything, that severe of a problem, it was the fact that people learned how to communicate online and do the Zoom. And since we looked business, and that's our focal point, that was Skype that did not change, and Zoom zoomed.
Yep.
It took off because it was positioned, and it also adapted very quickly to what the people were actually wanting. So that was just another example of how a business evolves. And, if you sit back on your laurels, you lose your market. So anyway, one of the things that has happened here in the last year or more, I've been working on it for a little bit longer, but there were 2 MOUs, memorandums of understanding, that the SBA signed with the VA. So that's a Small Business Administration working with the VA to do something. And what it had to do was with this program, it's called the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. It used to be called the VOC Rehab, and they changed the name of it to Veteran Self-Employment Track, to the Veteran Readiness and Employment. And there's 5 different tracks. The focus of that program, and it's separate from the education programs that are available. It's under Chapter 33. This is under Chapter 31. And what it does is it offers 5 tracks to help a disabled veteran. I'm sorry, I'm backing up in my head here.
No, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, they don't transfer, so only the disabled veteran can use these benefits.
Okay.
With the education benefits, they're allowed to transfer to family and things like that. But this one, there's 5 different tracks that they offer, and the focus of this program is employment.
Okay.
They do that through education, through, you can parallel another program and get a degree to help you become more employable, an apprenticeship where you can learn a different skill, trade, and they'll help you get that. But one of the ones that has not been utilized much is called the Self-Employment Track. That Self-Employment Track has been there since the beginning of this program.
It's one of the 5.
Right.
Okay.
The other 2 are minor programs but these are the 3 major ones that I focus on. And this self-employment track is the only thing we're involved with. And what it is that it helps a veteran who has a handicap, a problem. It helps them figure out what works for them for employment purposes. And there are certain areas where they would be better off running their own business than working for somebody else. And like I say, it's been underutilized, and it was actually 0.3%, according to the last statistics, 0.3% of the veterans, the disabled veterans in the VR&E program were using this track. It's, as I understand, the more recent data shows 0.6%, but that's still under 1%.
Yeah, that's really like 0.6.
Right,
We're not
right.
talking like 6.
So there's a push now, and that's part of the reason this MOU was signed. And there were actually 2 separate ones that were signed in the last 18 months or so. And one of those purposes is to employ the SBA business counselors, which we are part of the SBA. So this is the
VBOCs.
VBOCs. And
There's a lot of acronyms,
yes.
if you can't tell. We live in acronym city.
We do.
It's really fun.
So it's the VBOCs and also the small business development centers. Plus, you've got the women's centers, and you have SCORE, which is a volunteer organization that is partially funded through the SBA. But all these things were pulled together and offered up for a resource for the counselors in VR&E. Now, a counselor in VR&E has a lot of different things they have to worry about, making sure that they're tracking people and doing the right thing for the veteran that they're working with. And they've got to learn and understand a swath of information. They are not focused, or they don't have 20 years of building a business. So that's what was thought. Hey, this would be a great resource for the VA to have, the VR&E counselors. So that's what we have been able to do. We've written an SOP. I'll throw out another
let's keep them coming. They're fun.
That's a standard operating procedure. So we've drafted that, and we're starting to work with VR&E in the different states to help them, or to be a resource to provide for them so they can depend on the viability of that business. Whether or not it's going to be a success, nobody can guarantee. But certainly we can provide enough information and enough support for them to have a strong feeling about it. Now, just so everybody understands, there's 1,000 small business development centers around the United States.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and there's 31 VBOCs. So there's a lot of support. And all these people, a typical director is just like me. Ran their own business, possibly they taught, possibly they lectured in business, and probably they've got 20 years of running their own businesses. All this experience is there. They understand how to analyze business plans, do financial projections, research markets.
And you're a veteran.
Yes.
Too.
Right.
Which I don't know if that's common with all of the VBOCs. I guess that's a question for you. I don't know. I know that SBDCs are usually there's probably someone that has had business ownership or something, right? Like that.
Yeah, that's the unique status, if you will, of the VBOC, is that we have a unique perspective, that we understand, the veteran side of things and how the VA works. And as a veteran, you're
a user, or you could be, right?
Yes, and I do and have used the VA benefits. And, it's something you understand if you go through it. And, you can work with the veteran. You understand the frustrations there. Little things that people don't think about. For example, if you're starting out a business and you've lived here in Billings all your life, you have a network. It's been there. It's existed from as you grew, it developed. But picture yourself as a veteran coming back after 8 years, coming back, a couple of terms or tours of duty, or retiring back into your home city. Your network's gone, and you're trying to develop a business. And that part of it is not exactly understood, how separate you are. You have to renew that network. You have to create a new network. All these things we understand. We've been there and have experienced that. So what we offer to the VA is this ability to make them feel more comfortable with making a recommendation for a veteran to start their own business. A typical example would be for a disabled veteran, a service-disabled veteran, to come into the VR&E counselor and say, "Hey, I want to start my business." And they the first thing, and this is all the VA's position, it's their program. All we're doing is helping and providing support for them. But the counselor or there's a two-step process with the VR&E. There's this idea of eligibility, whether or not you're eligible for the program, and then if you're entitled to it. And the reason for that two-step is because if you already have a solid career, you have your PhD in biochem, and you work in that area, you're not going to get more because there's nothing more to get. So that's one of the things that they first explore when they're talking to you, and as well as is should you really start your business.
Yeah.
So they're evaluating all that. But if the VR&E counselor decides, okay, this is somebody that we should really see if they can start their own business. And what we are offering them is this ability for the VR&E counselor to contact us.
Yep. So they would contact you guys
Right.
at VBOC.
Right,
Okay.
as a POC.
Yep.
Throw that one out.
Yeah.
The point of
Point
contact.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So,
Beat me to it. I was
yes,
coming with
I
it.
know,
Yeah.
I know you are.
Yep.
When I got into the civilian world, the EOD was a tough one for me. I didn't understand.
Because
what
for us, it's like end of day.
Yeah, end of day
Yeah.
is what
I don't know what it is for the military.
explosive ordnance disposal.
Okay. So
So,
it's a little
bit different.
It's tiny bit, but it's
So,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are building these relationships with the VR&E counselors. So you guys know them, are really connected. And then if they're like, yeah, this is maybe someone that should look at starting their company, they're
Right.
like, hey, Rick,
Right.
I've got someone
Right.
you should connect with.
Yeah. And I should have started with this to grab the listener's attention. It's not chump change. What they do, they don't give you money to start your business. They will help you buy tools to start your business. And in fact,
What do you mean by tools?
that's the broad definition of what is that. I'll get into that a little bit down the road, but it's up to $50,000
Okay.
on a regional basis. So
Wow.
it's not little bits of information of money here. It's something to really help a veteran start their business. So back to what I was saying, they'll contact VBOC and or the SBDCs for that matter if there's not a VBOC around or if we refer them out. But the POC is going to be the VBOC. But they'll reach out to that counselor and then request the support. At that point, the counselor, the business counselor now, and we'll just call all of us over in the SBA the business counselors, we're going to begin working with that veteran, developing their business, marketing, financial plan, and determining the feasibility, the viability, and the desirability of that product or service that they're going to want to start, and make a determination of whether or not we think that's a good way to go. Because you can come to me and say, hey, I can make the best buggy whips in the world, but your market's going to be pretty small, so I may question that. But what we'll do, we will make our own assessment and do the research also. And after I've been doing this for a while with some veterans, and we've gotten them through the system. And it's 40 to 50 hours of one-on-one consultation with the veteran. Well, the reason I mention it is because VR&E can rest assured that we are doing the work to make sure that this veteran is situated for success.
And supported and
Right.
Yep.
So what we'll do is we'll do all that, and that information is developed, and it's provided there's another step to help out too, because take it out of our hands and take it out of the VRE or not take it out of their hands, give them more comfort level. We will help them develop a business panel, and that business panel will be given all the information on this business, the business plan, the financials, whatever, research if they want it. And then they will interview or review the veteran business and make their recommendation. That's all we can do is recommendation. So that's
the VBOC, right? So yep.
Well, the business panel is independent of the VBOC and the VR&E. It's just a recommendation, and we'll help put it together. Like we're putting one together right now. And we're going to have an SBDC director on it, ourselves, VR&E person will be on it, and also a banker, just to get a good, solid, financial and business background on this panel. And we've developed a scorecard that helps them decide, is this person ready to move forward or not?
And then, they're all people, right, that are providing great value. So maybe even if they aren't quite ready yet, right? They're getting a lot of really good feedback to take so that they can come back around and say, okay, I took your feedback. I heard it. Here's what I've done. Am I ready now? Is what I assume.
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
And what happens is that the business panel, according to the way the regs are written, will never say no. What they will do is recommend, this needs more, or this should be fleshed out, or this more work put in here, which is fine. It gives that veteran an opportunity to continue on.
Yeah, and some more detail, like just good feedback.
Yeah.
And thoughtful counseling.
And we as business people, we want them to succeed no matter what. No matter if they get benefit, they pass and they get money or support, rather, tools from VR&E, we're still going to support the veteran and help them get started.
And they get this all at the VA, right? Not you guys, but the VR&E counselor. When are they getting in contact with that advisor person?
What happens is that they can go onto the VA's website and apply for VR&E benefits.
Cool. Okay.
And then they would go in, if they're accepted into the program, then they would go in, they'd be assigned a counselor, and then that counselor would meet with them and they could tell them, okay, this is what I want to do. And then it's up to that counselor and the record and what they think in their expertise that they have as to whether or not that person is somebody that should do X, Y, or Z, whichever track they should take. And then if it is a self-employment track, then that's when we would come in and we would just supply that resource, that support for them. And
you guys are already doing this for so many.
Yes.
It's a little different, right? Based on the designation, right? If it's disabled.
Well,
or can it be anybody?
No, they have to be. The VR&E benefits are only for service disabled veterans.
Okay.
And they have to be service disabled. It may sound a little strange, but a 0 rating is not going to allow them to have the benefit. However, 10% or more would.
Okay.
And the way it reads is more like 20% to 100% is in the same box. So you would have the same support across the board. But it's an interesting program. And there's two cultures there. There's the culture of the VA and the culture of the SBA that are coming together because we have that business expertise as a resource, and they're used to working with the veterans across the board, on their education benefits, on apprenticeships, and this is a little bit of a strange situation starting a business. For example, when is it successful? How do we determine if it will be, the probability for success? Nobody can say absolutely when a business is going to be successful or if it will be successful, but we can, through all this research and the work that we do with the veteran, give you a very strong indication of the perseverance of that veteran just by going through those 50 hours or so of one-on-one meetings, whether or not they follow through on doing the research, whether or not there's different stages. We use what's called a lean business model. And the lean business model is this idea of spending as little as possible and talking to the customer as much as possible before you ever get started. So that would be a situation where you go and you talk to the customer and you refine whatever the service or the product is by continually going back to the customer until you have a minimum viable product or service that they're willing to buy.
Okay.
And that's this iterative process. So, but that lean approach.
It's different, right? But like manufacturing uses like lean manufacturing. So it's like efficiencies and you're constantly.
Right. You're trying to.
Constantly evaluating and finding you could do better.
Absolutely. It sounds like you've done Six Sigma.
Yeah, totally. Six Sigma Lean Manufacturing 101 with Patty Fleming. No, I'm kidding. He was on the podcast kind of recently, so it's fresh and top of mind from a manufacturing standpoint.
Sure.
But what are some of the companies or types of businesses that you're seeing these veterans start?
Yeah. Well, that goes to the question which you raised earlier, which I dodged for a moment, which is what's tools?
Yeah. What are the tools?
The tools can be pretty much anything that you need that would be 100% applied to you doing business. We've had veterans that are photographers, so camera equipment. We've had some that required specialized computer systems because of their online production, video production, a drone. and along those lines. We've also had refrigerators and things like that for people that are starting food trucks.
Cool.
So, or trailers. The interesting thing is right now as the regs go, nothing with wheels on it, because who knows where it can go. But if you're starting a business and you need an ice maker or something, that's a tool. So
To help you with your business.
Yeah. You put it in the trailer that you're starting the food truck, stove top, things like that. So,
and is that money? This might be, you might have touched it earlier, but so that 50,000, right? That is that they could get. Is that like, here's the 50,000, you don't owe it back, or is there like, what does that look like?
It is like your education benefits. There's nobody for a veteran. They don't come back and look for the money. It's there. You've earned it as a veteran.
Awesome.
This is a benefit. You're a disabled veteran. You've got an injured service disabled veteran. So, the country owes you something.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's a small amount to be. Yeah.
It is. My personal opinion. So it's they write the checks. They buy the equipment for you. And the danger that from their perspective, not knowing it is, well, how do we know this veteran's really going to start their business? Well, then I think that's why it hasn't been used quite a bit in the past. So what we offer here is an SOP and also a way for them to feel comfortable that this is something that will be used correctly. And that's the whole point for getting this down the road and for me sitting here talking to you now.
Yeah, it's fun. So how are you seeing a growth in the use of it? I mean, obviously you guys are leaning into it, which is helpful. Yeah. But it's 18 months, right, roughly, so still kind of newish, but seeing a growth in the utilization.
Well, the growth is occurring over the last 18 months with these two MOUs coming out. One MOU came out, I think, in March of 24, and another one was signed here in May of 25. And all designed of trying to pull the VA and the SBA together. And it helps also on the manufacturing side that, there's a push from the SBA to get manufacturing going here. So these are all things that are coming together to help out. As far as what my personal experience has been with this is it's been about 3 years or more. Wow. The first individual I got through this he was doing video, and he ended up winning the Utah Independent Film Festival, one of the mini documentaries. Wow. He's entered in two others, as I recall. So he's won a couple of different awards for his videography. So
that's huge.
Right. For him to have that and for me to have had just a modicum of influence and him being able to do that.
That's special.
Yeah.
And that they're like now doing something creative, exciting, that's like filling their... Like it's something that it's theirs and they're passionate about it and they can run with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's one of the veterans here in Montana that we worked with, is up in Kalispell. And, he's got a nature and a wedding photography company. Cool. And he's been going out and he's got equipment that, helped him. And he also ended up winning the Montana Veteran Small Business of the Year Award last year. And, again,
that's a huge recognition.
It makes you feel good. It makes you understand why you do something.
Right.
It gives you something tangible. You're working hard, but that tangible benefit of seeing these people move forward
change their life a little too. I mean, it like where they're at now, like they've given, and now they can lean into something that they're passionate about and grow and do. Yeah. With your help.
Yep.
What else? What else you got?
Well,
these are really great resources.
Yeah.
And I'm excited we're chatting about it.
I am too.
Rick's always giving us acronyms, so sometimes I'm like, what are you talking about? But now I know.
You've got it all memorized now, okay?
Yeah. We can have a test later off air.
But there's things that need to be worked out here. I mean, when you're starting a business, you need that, benefit or that equipment now to start your business. So the VA system is not designed for that. So that's understandable, and that's something that we're working on. Anybody that's worked with a VA understands that the delays there and the potential bottlenecks. The other thing that we run into is a semi-serious issue, which is when is a business started? Because they only help support starting a business. If you have been in business for a period of time, and what that period of time is questioned, then you no longer have a benefit. The benefit is to start your business. So there has been some clarity, lately in the last few months here on that. But for a while there, nobody's quite sure if you even just registered the business
and did nothing else.
And did nothing else. Were you already in business? For the
even
most,
though you've done nothing
right.
with it.
Yeah.
Except registered your LLC or whatever you did.
Well, yeah. And it was kind of funny there for a while. The question is whether or not you were in business already. But even in the regs, it says something about that evidence of you wanting to start a business is to provide them with your tax ID number that there's a business. Yeah. Well, you can't do that until you form it. Mm-hmm. That type of stuff is something that is getting clarified. The idea here also that's popping up is farmers and ranchers.
Yeah, what kind of support can they get?
Well, we don't know yet. That's a little bit up in the air. Okay. This is all brand new stuff that's coming down, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. There's a lot more interest in farming, agriculture, and we're going to see where that falls down, but that's being worked out and above my pay grade.
But we'll know at some point, right?
Well, I certainly hope so.
We hope so. Yeah. Where can people go to find out more on that?
Probably just reaching out to us, and it's always a good idea. A simple thing is to email me at rick@bigskyeda.org. So.
Yeah, this is helpful and exciting. So, and people, if they're wanting to do the VR&E and learn more about that, still just reaching out to you.
Yes.
Right? And then you can kind of get them connected and really get them set up for success.
I know that your listening audience is huge and
it's so huge. I know. Yeah.
No matter where you are, then I say this, seriously, no matter where you are in the United States, just email me and I'll connect you with the VBOC that runs your area.
Rick knows everyone.
Yeah.
Which we can get to on a later episode. But I mean, you guys do. And I think that such a huge credit. So it's Rick and Justin in our office. They're always like traveling or doing one-on-one counseling when they are here in the office, but covering the 3 states that you guys cover. They're big states. They're not and they're spread out states of population, right? Like you're traveling to get to the people, and you guys just do such a great job. But to your point earlier, I think that is interesting from a larger scale when you look at it, where you have 1,000 SBDCs?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And then you only have 30-some VBOCs?
31.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys do know each other, right? Because there's 31 centers across the country.
We
so you're
do.
Friends.
It's a nice, close-knit group, but it's a well-organized group that works extremely well with all of these SBDCs. And this is the thing that's really important. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I run into it all the time where somebody will come to me and say that, I've got somebody that's going to help me. Now, this is a little bit off topic, but it's things I run into with veterans. They'll come to me and say, I've got somebody that's going to get me registered so I can get into SAM and be a service-disabled veteran contractor, with the government. And they'll only charge me $3,000. Well, that's free.
Yeah, we have all of those. So we have the VBOC services to clients is free. We also has an SBDC free, Apex Accelerator, which is the procurement for local, state, and federal government contracting needs. We have really great experts, yourself included, that a team of experts that can help you navigate all of that, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
So those ones that do charge you $3,000, maybe give us a call before you do that.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. And even to the extent of even organizing your company, we can help you do that for the fee that the state charges. The thing I have the advantage of saying when I work with veterans is that your service paid for my service.
Yeah.
There's nothing free about me.
Well, you're a veteran too, so thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else that we should know about?
No, I think we covered everything.
Email you and get connected if you're curious to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Or you could go to bigskyEconomicDevelopment.org, to our team's page if you are listening and you're like, what was his email again? And just want to, Rick's there.
I'm here.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening to The Vault. Connect with us on Facebook at The Vault at 201 North Broadway or Instagram at TheVault_201. Or check us out on our website, thevault@201.com, where you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter. See you next time.